Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mate, sitting in the fucking middle, you can't get comfortable.
It's good to have a little bit behind.
Yeah, nice arm, innit? What do you do with your arm? You're not using it. Why are you not having your armrest?
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Casting Couch, got it right this time. Part 2, Gone Wrong. The Manor, Scotty Stacks, Danny Graff, Johnny Dutch. How are we, fellas?
Sweet.
Very well, thank you very much,
Decent.
Oscar. Yeah, very well.
It's been a while. When was the last one? It was, I think we're talking over a year. Over a year.
Talking just before Christmas.
Just
wasn't
before Christmas, I think, yeah. It was mid-COVID.
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, we at your gaff we did it, yeah.
Yeah, so lots changed since then, not just in boxing, but I think we spoke about sort of the trouble of bringing out music in COVID, because you boys said, obviously, people who know your music, it's the sort of music you go out to.
Yeah.
So although a lot of people might think, in lockdown, people are listening to music, this and that, kind of weren't like that for you boys. But now we're, 6 days away from the biggest night in the history of the Manor. So
History of the Manor, yeah, the longest waited show I think there's ever been.
Ever.
2 years, started, when was it, October 2019, we started selling, we put it on sale, sold it out in a month or something, very quick, and this is the 4th date we've had for it. So it's been a bit of a myth. Some people even, like, they've been saying up until now, like, is it going to happen? Like, this show is happening. It's happening. Like,
I've still been a bit like that. I think because it's obviously, this is the 4th date we've had now. It's been postponed 3 times. Every time I built myself up and got negged out when it didn't happen. So then by the last couple, I just kind of got my head around and said, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And then if it does, happy days, and dealt with it that way.
That's it. Everyone says to me, are you excited? I'm like, I'll be excited when we walk out. When we actually get on stage.
Trust, I still don't half believe it. You know what I'm saying?
It definitely is happening now.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
You reckon?
It's 100% happening.
I was worried about the vaccine passport. So I thought something's going to happen here. I've been watching the cases for 2 years, but we look good. We look good now.
Graph. Danny Graff.
well, I told you boys, I bought my ticket before I knew you lot in November 2019.
Yeah.
Man.
And obviously everyone's got older. You said to me, Dan, you're in your early 30s now, so is this the retirement gig?
I don't usually say that, but nice one. Yeah, no, it's mad. I say we've lost a lot of mandem along the way. We've lost a lot of settled down kids.
Guest list is very different to what it was.
Yeah, whole new guest list.
There'll be a few toddlers in the crowd. So, you know.
But yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like I said, we couldn't remember who we put on our guest list. That's how long it's been. But
and you were putting every Tom, Dick and Harry on there anyway.
everyone I met on holiday, yeah, everyone I like. I've had to let a lot of people down. I'm hoping a lot of people don't ring me this week.
For Croatia.
After Croatia, yeah.
Still, even this year, festivals this year, when we know it's Ramo, everyone you bumped into at every festival.
Said, yeah. I said to you, what do you need? As soon as you got here today.
I barely walked through the door and already I've got all my mates on.
Yeah.
I'm walking away happy. If this interview's shit, it don't matter because I'm walking away with a guest list.
But little do you know, there's actually no space and they're probably not going to get in. So.
Yeah, this is the...
I'm going to turn the camera off.
Yeah, you're good.
But one thing you have done is you've done a couple of festivals, so you are prepped and ready. This ain't something that's coming out of the blue. You've done a couple of festivals and...
been good.
Full pre-season. We had Pizza Express, dipped my toe in. Then we had a couple Southbound, Sundown, and a big one at the Isle of Wight. It's kind of
Isle of Wight was a mental affair. Honestly, I'd say it's our best ever festival show we've ever done, and it was it was manic. Right,
It's the first one we all walked off and we went. Usually we'll go, I should have done that. What were you doing there? We went spot on.
Everyone we was with was like, sick.
And we had a big crowd with us, who we had to put the show on.
Charities with festivals as well, because it's like, you never know if there's going to be anyone there. That's always the fear at festivals, because there's so many different people on the lineup, and you get booked by the promoter. At a headline show, you know you sold tickets, they come to see her. Whereas at a festival, you'd think, is anyone, we could walk out and there's no one there. And especially Isle of Wight, the lineup so sort of random and eclectic, and we're quite different from anyone else there. There weren't many rappers there. Do you know what I'm saying? I was worried because then we got there as Lightning Seeds.
Yeah.
And then I see All Saints on at the same time as us.
Liam Gallagher was the day before,
Yeah, man. And Kaiser Chiefs were headlining last stage.
Again, 20 minutes before it was empty, and then by when we come off, or even halfway through the set, you had a queue to get into the tent. So that's when you know you've done a good job.
It was 10 deep. It was like 10 deep outside the tent of people just peering in.
People on that, and they just knew it was going on.
Crazy.
Very good to be back. That was worthwhile.
It's nice to go. That's a long way to go and find a big crowd like that. Do you know what I mean? Because the biggest festival crowd we had before that was Reading. But then we didn't do a London festival that year. So Reading was the closest one. That was like our own game. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was banging.
Yeah. Let's talk about the summer quickly, because Grealish, like I said to you, was the sound of my summer. Obviously, it all ended in tears, but oh mate, the song, a couple of weeks we had, it was all perfect, really, wasn't it?
It was.
Until that day.
I was saying to him, it was double pressure. Like, don't do it, because it's bad enough you're stressing out about England, but then when you also pin your big tune that year on the game, every game we're getting more press, and you're thinking you want to win regardless. It's England, but you're thinking, right, we need to win. We need to win.
It was over the PA at Richmond Fan Zone.
Yeah.
It was over the PA, and this was like the quarter final.
I went to one of the Richmond Fan Zone, the Germany game, and he played it, and I was going out to get snap, and he played it, and I thought, I've missed it. And then I ran back, and I think I still missed it. He played it twice, and I missed it both times. But it was good. Richmond Fan Zone was banging.
That was mad. I wasn't even on the track, and also my people coming up to me, go Jack.
Mate, it was mental when we spoke to him, because the thing about this England team as well, that they're all nice lads as well. And we got mates who know a few of them. We work with Nike and that, and we're speaking to Jack Grealish halfway through the tournament, and I just thought, as soon as we had that interview with him, we spoke to him, wished him well. I thought, we're going to win it now.
That was going to be our claim to fame, innit? We played a very small part in a little bit of the morale that led to us winning a major tournament for the first time.
But it's still because it was like semis, before that, and then final. So Qatar will win it, and it's all been part of the journey.
And Jack Grealish will turn up, and he will be the
star.
He'll
start now, won't he? Yeah, he'll start now.
After you boys went on that Lions Den, I was away with my pals. We watched it, I had a few beers, and I went, right, what we're doing is, when we win it, we're going to speak to them, go to Ibiza, and Grealish will be there.
He
would have party together. That's what
I strongly believe he would have come Ibiza with us, because
he said that after Josh. He went, don't worry, he'll back it. Yeah, he'll back it.
He would have come.
We know what he's like as well. He will back it.
Yeah. I think he went Vegas. Didn't he go Vegas on his own?
No, he didn't.
It looked like he just went Vegas on his own.
He went out to not Santorini, to Mykonos.
I'm saying Grealish, because they were all in Mykonos. It looked like
Grealish was in Mykonos.
Oh, was he?
As well, yeah.
I thought he was in Vegas for a bit.
But just the fact that he's acknowledged your song, and like I said, the fact that it was being played at places that, because I'll be honest, obviously you guys are quite niche. So some of the songs you bring out, I ain't gonna just a bit.
Yeah.
But I've heard some of your songs on the radio, and I'm like, fucking hell, I know these boys, whatever. But it's quite niche. So the fact that was kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for that few weeks, it was nice. Very, very nice.
It was weird. Like I said, when we got the Lions Den thing, we felt like this is like the closest thing we're getting to England duty here. I was like, do we need to wear a little suit?
Basically footballers, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not saying you a cat.
It was that Soccer AM. I remember
like,
saying to when we first went to Soccer AM, Monza, our mate Don, who's like a ridiculous footballer, thinking like, imagine I got closer to being a pro footballer than you. Been on Soccer AM.
The most nerve-wracking things are the football stuff though. Because before you did music, every kid, even I was the worst footballer in the game. I'm right foot, but I've got 2 left feet. Like, I'm terrible. And I still thought until I was about 11 that I was going to be a professional footballer. And my dad pulled me aside one day and went, mate, you're shit. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, try something else. And I started rhyming stuff. I thought, right, that's me. But it's just a big thing, and anything in England, obviously. Like I said, I spoke to you about it out there, but that's the first time I've wanted to speak to anyone about that final since just about got over it.
I found, something what you were just saying, I was going through some stuff with my old girls the other day. I found a exercise book from school from like year 4, and it was like, what do you want to be when you're older? And it said WWF World Champion.
Yeah, that was another one to me.
That was like my real life, like legit ambition at that time. Was to be
I wanted to be either Stone Cold or Ian Wright for me. It was one of the two.
Well, something happened and you all ended up here.
Yeah.
We've got to jump into the boxing, obviously. When we spoke before, I watched it back the other day actually, it was half an hour long. We spoke about heavyweight, super middleweights, Hearn, whatnot. But yeah, we're going to keep this to a heavyweight one because let's be honest, that's the talk at the moment. Got to start with Saturday in Vegas. Before we talk about the actual fight, just in terms of the trilogy, so the draw, Tyson stoppage, and then fucking chaos on Saturday. In terms of the trilogy, what has that done for heavyweight boxing?
Do you know, it's mad. Someone said the other day, it's definitely in the top 5 trilogies of all time. You know, you've got the Ward Gatties.
What's your top 5? You want to do
Ward Gatty. No, I don't know. No, Harley Fraser, Ward Gatties up there. I'm trying to think now. But someone said this, it's up there. And it's mad because Wilder literally won about 2 rounds out of the whole 30 that they boxed. So it's the one-sided trilogy, but it was still so exciting.
Still shitting yourself the whole way.
Yeah, course. But
the first one the most, I remember that I was like, we would probably spoke about this last time, but I was like, I literally put my head in your lap. It's nothing funny, but
No,
but I went like that.
It was deep.
And then I went, he's gone, and then you went, he's up, and I went, how's he up? Like,
I remember, and then Jammer just bouncing around, doing a madness.
But I was even this one. I said to you, I was like, I was still nervous because I thought after AJ went, I thought it's just in the stars, isn't it? That they're both you're gonna lose that fight.
And this country will have such a little say.
Yeah. I thought it's gonna be Usyk Wilder for undisputed. I was like,
when the fight got cancelled, when the AJ and because that still that annoys me, and I feel as though that's what in the build up to this fight why people weren't as excited because we were geared up for AJ Fury. We'd been waiting so long, and then. I want to blame Bob Arum, really. It sounds like it was more Bob Arum because Eddie Hearn, he's not going to turn down a pound. No, he would have done everything to get that fight going. So I believe him on this.
Yeah.
But that pissed me off that we had to have this. So it was only until about 2 weeks ago I could even get excited for it because this wasn't a fight we really wanted.
Nah.
But in the end, that's all about stars making fights. Them two are a match made in heaven for entertainment in boxing. Yeah. And so... yeah, I was very happy to watch it. I was nervous watching it. It was fucking, literally exhilarating throughout the whole of it. And then that round 4, Jesus Christ.
And it's what you say as well in the style thing, because it's not even like it's just like two contrasting super technical styles. It's just like an unbelievable boxer and a massive puncher. Yeah. So it's just the geezer getting beaten up for a whole fight, but he's always got that bang on him to make something crazy happen. And Fury puts his head up enough to get caught. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Across the trilogy, he got caught a few times.
So I told him my stream went literally 4th round, and then it come back in, and Fury's on his arse. And I went, how's this happened? Then it's gone again, and he's on his arse again. I was like, no, you are joking. I ended up buying it. I had to. The stream went. I bought it in the end. So
even the
I righted the wrong.
I was worried in the first round he looked like he had a completely different game plan. He had he was throwing them shots to the body.
It's alright first round, didn't
No, he didn't, but he was
them jabs
powerful, trying to set up that big overhand right. He was powerful shots to the body. I'm thinking Fury was all marked up after the first round. I remember being in a WhatsApp
and he weren't coming forward as much, was he?
No. Yeah. But I thought his tactics, Fury, he didn't want to go and rush in and bully him like last time. He was going to dance around, keep out of range. Then, with Wilder having more weight, try and batter him later on in the fight, which kind of did end up happening.
That first round, it's like he almost looked like he could box.
Like he'd been with Malik Scott. I think people thought Malik Scott had reformed him.
Yeah.
Everyone was
he looked like he could box.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about the carnage in a sec that happened in the fight. But in terms of Wilder, I remember last time we sat here and you boys slated him, and I'll say rightly so, because after the second fight he was a plonker. Let's not.
Yeah. Excuses. That's what we've not now.
You boys will say it as well. The respect that Wilder's earned for that third fight, from just the fact that you can tell he will fight to the death. He was a warrior, played a massive part. Kind of changed people's perception of him, would you say? Which is mad considering he was a heavyweight world champion with 40 wins, and I think it's only taken this defeat for people to go, he's a warrior.
My perception ain't fully changed because I still ain't heard from him yet. And listen, he didn't do the press conference afterwards, and he didn't shake Fury's hand.
Even though I get it when they say, I don't like it when fighters they go and hug the other geezer or put him on their shoulders, like see it in UFC and that, and you're like, you've just been done. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone a minute. I get that. Like, I wouldn't want to be.
But there's a different code amongst fighters, though. If you go through that with another man, then you've got to, put your hands up and be like,
yo, 33 rounds in total.
Joseph Wilder, though, it's like, I've always wondered, like, what of his brand and his persona is contrived and what's him. Because I remember seeing him before, when he was making a name for him, ironing out people in America, and his story about his daughter, and he used to play football and blah, 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 and whatever. And he's got quite a poignant story behind him. And I've seen a few bits of him over the years, and he seems
sweet
like he seems sweet. And then I felt like, all right, but then now, because of the whole Bronze Bomber thing and the brand he's created, he's decided to play the heel, which is cool. Like, I understand marketing, but then as we've gone further into this Fury trilogy now, he has just, I thought he's playing the heel and he's acting like a prick. And now you're acting like a brat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
It
no.
started
There's
because
no.
he weren't getting no credit though. That's why he had to sort of
And it's just all
am it
become,
up.
yeah, and then it's all just become a bit classless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
The
saying?
thing is as well, like you were saying a minute ago about Mark Breland throwing in the towel in the last fight, and the fact that he shows that he will fight to the death, he proved it. Like he's always, even when he looked dead on his feet, and he was carrying far too much weight for him. He was 17 stone. He's probably a stone overweight. He still had that equaliser in him. So I get where he was frustrated about a trainer throwing in the towel. But as a trainer, your responsibility is to the health of your fighter. And I would probably have done what Breland did. Yeah. But I see his point now. Like you were saying, I see his point. He wanted to just let me go out on the sword.
That's when I was worried though. When I put that on the group on the day, I was worried for him. I was thinking when he was banging on about how much he's benching. And I'm thinking, I know geezers who can bench what you were doing without a spot. And you're banging on about your bench press as if that's going to save you. With a geezer who's like an actual man, not weight, an actual human beings pushing you about. You ain't going to out-strength him.
You're
He's still bigger.
Bleep test him. Like.
That's what I mean.
You're facing an athletic bear, basically.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a clinch. You're never going to win that, so you want to get away. So I didn't think that was smart.
I guess, especially after the first fight, though, when he was that close to putting him down late, you can understand why he would put his health and his well-being on the line to go all the way. Yeah. Because when you got a shot like that, that's like, when you got that gunfight, it's like the only thing that you've got. But you'll always have that. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So unless he's literally Sparko on the floor, like, you're going to want to carry on if you're him.
Yeah. In terms of Tyson Fury, did we actually learn anything about Fury, do you think? Because he's been on his ass before and got back up. And in the first fight, that was a heavier knockdown than any of the ones in this fight. Yeah. We know he can box. We've seen he can stick it on someone in the second fight. So did we actually learn anything about Tyson?
I feel as though we learned he was a little bit complacent, I think, going into this fight. I mean, he's had a lot of his own personal issues. And his dad said the other day he was only probably at 60%. But the thing we learned...
COVID thing as well.
Yeah. For someone who's been training all year, maybe it's got... I mean, after the biggest victory of all time, you can't say, oh, he's might be getting past the hill now. But, you know, he said he'd been in camp, though, for a year, effectively. So you'd expect a tuned-in fighter, and he got that fourth round. He got complacent. There were flash knockdowns, but he got a little bit complacent.
I was worried going in. It was a bit too confident.
Sometimes long camps you can lose a bit of sharpness as well. Though.
But what's scary about him, where he's almost an alien, is that he fights better after adversity. If he gets hurt and he gets buzzed, he turns into he takes to another level.
That's the gypsy DNA.
I don't know many fighters I've seen like that who then. It's an Eddie always used to say about Tyson is that if you put him in with a normal opponent or an average opponent, he can't get up for it. But it's that he finds levels within him which go to it, and that. I mean, that's a madness.
I only really stick it when it's a big geezer. That's when I probably get behind it.
That's why you've been in like gospel.
Because I suppose you get some people who, but for him, it's when he gets caught, he switches it on. Yeah. Because other fighters, like I feel like Callum Smith, for example, is someone who raises his game against good opponents and can look a bit lazy against lesser fighters. But for someone like Fury, who when he gets caught, he turns it on. There's not a lot of fighters like that.
Yeah, definitely. Just ridiculous powers of recovery.
Like Inhuman, almost. Yeah. So I mean, like that first shot, to think of that shot, that right hand on the top of your head, what that will do to your like fucking spinal column. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that will fuck your shit up.
It's different belief, bro. You see it in all the face-offs when he's told people. And you know people trying to G them, so you can see when someone's trying to G themselves up. But you see when someone crumbles the other person, you see Klitschko did it to Hate, but then Fury did it to Klitschko twice.
I think Fury did. Do you know what? Come up on the YouTube, I was watching one of the interviews, and it come up the Fury and David Haye build up on Sky when they were sitting in the Sky. Remember Sky used to do the ringside, and they were sitting there, and that was hilarious because you saw Hay actually rattled, but he was trying to contain himself. But he's like, also, you forget how clued up he is about boxing. He's a historian himself, Fury. Like he was destined for greatness, and it was I think that was his greatest moments Saturday night. Yeah.
Well, he's undoubtedly now the number one in the division, and what a way, like we said, to end a trilogy. Before we talk about what's next for Tyson, obviously we can link all these heavyweights in, and there's about 6 geezers that, coming off a loss or not, you put them in with each other, it's going to be a fight we're all buzzing for. Yeah. You might as well take it back, 2-3 weeks. Aj-Usyk. I don't know, like, it seems like, from my perspective, that there's a lot of people perhaps not giving Usyk the credit and saying Joshua should have stuck it on him and this and that. But when you look at it and you watch it at the time, you realise that he can't do that because of how good Usyk is. And was that quite visible?
Can I claim? Because I when I don't know if it was in the last interview we did or whatever. I think it was when we were talking about Joshua Tyson and against Fury, and I said I don't understand how he gets anywhere near Tyson Fury, for example, because he hasn't got the boxing ability. And I think that was clear in the Usyk fight, and I've got no idea what his strategy was with Rob McCracken to try and stand there and outbox him. But in every aspect of that fight, from footwork to head movement to speed, he was just outclassed in every way.
I saw it slightly differently, that fight. I feel as though, I think he won about 4 or 5 rounds, and in them rounds, with a little bit more conviction and a little bit more belief and a mindset change. Now, I think since the Klitschko fight, I think since the Klitschko fight, his whole mentality, you got to remember, AJ was a ferocious fighter on the come up. You know, he used to batter guys, and I think the Klitschko. But well, you know, he still, you know, we got his world title fight, and he switches on. Even against Pulev, he started off trying to box and do this safety thing because he's worried about his chin getting touched because he don't trust his chin since Klitschko, I think, really. And in the Ruiz fights, you saw it. He's worried about his chin getting touched. But the fighter that won the world title and got to the top was ferocious. He used to batter people. I think he needs a mindset change because physically, he can do a lot of damage. If Chisora can do what he did to Usyk, AJ can do a lot worse to Usyk. But he's not the same fighter mentally. And I think maybe in the next few months, takes some time off. He goes back and has a shift in the way he thinks about fights. Not trying to box. He ain't the boxer. Like you said, he ain't the boxer.
Yeah, Usyk's a better boxer, but I still think AJ could do it.
He's a beast. He's a monster of a man. And with a different way of looking at things, he might need another trainer. Fury changed the trainer. Everyone changed it. Fuada did for this fight. It might need another trainer, but you've got to unlock that beast again. Yeah. Because it only came out in Pulev, like I said, early in the fight, he was doing a boxing thing. Then he might have got checked. Same with Povetkin, and he turns into another fighter, similar to Tyson. Turns into that guy again. But it's like it's been almost sort of...
I don't think he's got that, like, has he got that in him to put, like, I think that's the only chance he's got in it, is to put size on him and try and blow him away. But it's like, yeah, he's landed some big shots and drop guys, but if you look at especially against smaller fighters, the Takam fight, Parker fight, whatever, like, he's not, I don't really see him getting in there and imposing his size on good skilled boxers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, can he get there in brawl? Like, look what Chisora did against Usyk. Got in there and leant on his chest and just tried to blow him away. So I feel like, I said it earlier, I feel like Dillian could have some success.
But you've got to remember what, I know this was early in both their careers, Dillian's a far better fighter now. But look at what AJ did. Dillian caught him a couple times and AJ then switched on, got rid of him in devastating fashion.
Yeah, but is Dillian, I'd love to see it innit, but is Dillian an elite fighter? I'm not sure. And he had AJ banging,
no one's banging trouble
in that fight.
I've got to say it, no one in boxing, is anyone a top fighter? Everyone says, unless you beat the number one geezer in the division, everyone says that, no, he's not top. He's not top.
Well, Joe, that's a good point, because at the moment, the only fighter that people would class as elite, the two elites would be Fury and Usyk.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight each other, and undoubtedly, well, there's a lot that can happen in between. I suppose undoubtedly the winner will then be the elite. So I get where you're coming from. Is the elite fighters?
I find in boxing fans, it's like everyone's shit. Like who's someone got to fight other than the top geezer? No one gets like AJ's got a great record. He couldn't have fought anyone else, really, other than what Wilder.
He takes every fight, AJ.
You've got to rate him, man.
I rate his heart as well.
Yeah,
he's got to get back to that killer.
I don't think he's that good. I said his whole career, even like I was with you at the Klitschko fight. No, I know he's a
where the top three geezer ain't any good.
But he's like, I said to you, even at the Klitschko fight, like an aging Klitschko who at the back end of his career had him banging trouble again, and he got up off the canvas and he done his thing. But I just don't think he's that skilled a fighter. Never.
Does it say a lot about his mindset that, and he had to do the same. Ruiz, obviously, a completely different and a much more winnable fight. Ruiz was. That he's jumping straight back in with Usyk. What was it? Eddie went on the broadcast and said the rematch clause has been sort of activated.
Yeah.
So I suppose it says a lot about his mindset. And with Ruiz, people saying what could change, and a lot changed. But is Usyk just another level of fighter?
He is another
jumping straight into a rematch. Yes or no? Like,
he is another level of fighter. But like I said, I don't think there's many technical things. He's not going to get much technically better at this age and after this many fights. It's purely down to who can stir that beast inside him again before this fight. And if he can do that, he's got a chance. I think it's a 50-50 fight. Most people will say it's about 70-30, 80-20 Usyk to do what he done again. But we'll see.
I think he is improving as a heavyweight though. He hasn't had a lot of heavyweight fights. Although he was saying that he won his gold medal at heavyweight.
You're talking Usyk.
I'm talking about AJ.
Yeah. I think Usyk can definitely improve at heavyweight.
He can. He has done. His first.
I think he'll come in.
He's getting better as well.
I don't think he's clever though. I think you're right. I think it's having two on the spin of it because you've seen how people reacted to one loss. If he loses twice to Usyk, people are going to retire, whatever. When there are a load of other winnable fights for him. So
then don't forget fucking Andy Ruiz coming like about 45 stone in that rematch as well.
Yeah.
He come in about 45 stone and AJ still didn't. Everyone was like, oh yeah, he did what he needed to do. He was technical. Like, was he? I don't think he looked good in that fight. He looked alright. He did what he needed.
You're not a big AJ fan, are you?
Not really. I've been to all his fights though.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have been every fight. I thought you were an AJ fan. And then,
yeah, no, I support.
But I think they're all good. All the top 10 heavyweights.
I think they're all elite.
I think they're all world class.
They're getting all elite
by definition.
I just think it's the hardest sport in the world to be considered good at. Like you can be top 3 and you're still shit.
I'm worried about Dillian because obviously we're a massive Dillian fight, big up the boy, and I want him to have this to get a shot at Fury. And I think Fury's a good man, the man of his word. He said he's got that plan. He wants to defend his belt before getting in with an AJ Usyk winner. But
I'd love to see Dillian. I'd love to see Dillian world champ, mate. I'd love it. There's no one.
Chance, but
even I love Tyson, but for me, Dillian's the realest guy.
Tyson's had his moment now.
Yeah. He's done it. Let Dillian come through.
He's all-time great now.
I'm worried about the Warlin fight. How do you pronounce it?
I'd knock it. I'd just knock it. Like
I'd knock it. Everything's booked.
I don't care. I'd knock it and just get more money. The bigger fight. What you could do? I would knock it.
COVID.
But he loves it.
If I said to you boys, knock Brixton, and you get more money.
Because we got Wembley coming up. Yeah, I'd knock it.
We got that.
It's also easy, isn't it? Just knock it.
If we 100%. Everyone, I'll tell everyone.
If Wembley was at risk
right
for Brixton, then I'm knocking it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I am. We'd have a better gig. But that's his thing, innit? Anyone can get it, and the can man. So. Got to give him his due.
Warlin is now better boxer than Povetkin, and Povetkin got rid of Whyte, in the summer before last. Was it a fight camp last summer? Yeah. So I'm a bit worried about it, but now he's got that thing to look forward to. Now he's definite number one contender for WBC. He's got that to look forward to. Hopefully, he doesn't overlook how dangerous this fight could be.
That's the worry, innit? Yeah. Now you got the big one there. I hope he doesn't take his eye off.
But I don't think he will.
This one.
He's been in Portugal for fucking 3 years now, non-stop training. He's in the shape of his life, hopefully. So let's just.
And he does just love a scrap, doesn't he? Yeah. That's why he'll have a fight.
His interview after the AJ Usyk fight was insane. He said he called him a fucking weirdo.
Someone said in the comments.
He was pissed off though. He's pissed off when the belts leave Britain.
Yeah, no, he supports every English fighter.
He wanted the belt to stay in Britain. He's like, what are you doing, you div?
Do you think he was also pissed with the fact that seeing how AJ fight and the criticism he got for that game plan that you were talking about, Scotland, you didn't really understand how he approached it. Do you reckon he's looking at that and going, if that was me, I could have approached it this way, and maybe at least I would have had Usyk backpedaling and at least thinking, give me the chance to do that.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
But that was a comment it killed me in the thing. It went. It always looks like he's trying to work out an engineering equation every time he gets mate, he's fucking too funny.
He's a funny man.
We want him and Tyson at some point as well.
Yeah, great build up that'd be.
Some build up. It'd be so different. Like him and Tyson and Usyk is almost like two chess players and then two just absolute nut jobs.
Yeah.
Like Whyte and Tyson would be such a good fight. And I know that you said, John, you were quite disappointed in the way Andre Ward come out and said, because Eddie's trying to lobby for that Whyte fight potentially. If you
I don't know.
You don't want Fury inactive, so surely the Whyte fight makes kind of sense with AJ tied up.
But before I slag off Andre Ward, he's probably one of my heroes, boxing heroes. He's one of the best, smartest fighters of all time, really. So I have no idea what he's telling Eddie Hearn, who promotes Whyte and promotes AJ, and all the fans want the big heavyweight
fights. What was his problem with it?
He was like, leave him alone. He said you're over promoting the fight. I'm like, what? No, now everyone's gassed about boxing. After Saturday night, after you've got to capitalise, you want to keep that momentum and you give the fans as much. You want everyone involved makes as much money. He will. If it goes over to America, if we get, Dylan Whyte and Fury in Vegas or whatnot, he'll do the TV.
Fighting. I see it with
they're the prime, all of them. They're all mid 30s.
Did a thing a few years ago and he went, let's wait, let's build the fight, let's build the Wilder Joshua fight. And it's like, okay, you can build a fight up and get the money out of it, but if you have to fight 3 times, you're going to make more money, Just keep everyone fighting.
Because and like we were saying a minute ago, with the Fury and Wilder 3, we weren't excited till 2 weeks ago. Then we got that. So then, if there's a big heavyweight fight, there's nothing more exciting, probably in sport. And there's I think Max Kellerman said it was like, there is nothing like that, like on Saturday night, really and truly. In any other sport, there is nothing like that sort of drama created. So make as many fights as possible.
We've had AJ and Usyk and then Fury and Wilder within the space of 3 weeks. So let's just, for the sake of what I'm talking about, and then Dylan in a couple of weeks. Yeah. For the sake of what I'm talking about, let's just say AJ Usyk rematch, Usyk AJ rematch, is in February. Line Tyson and Dylan up for 2 weeks later. Yeah. And you've got a heavyweight bubble again.
Yeah, exactly.
Winners fight.
Exactly. And then, and even if AJ loses, there's still fights for AJ. Everyone would be.
Wilder's floating around.
AJ Wilder, straight off.
AJ Wilder. And that's what I know Eddie's already trying to angle for that. Like, he's done himself, his reputation wonders on Saturday night as a fighter again. People want to see that fight now again. So you don't always have to fight for world titles for good fights. Some of the biggest ones, British fights we've had, like even Chisora and Whyte, everyone enjoyed that. That's Chisora Whyte times 50. Or AJ Wilder. You know what I mean?
Fury and Usyk.
It's
take the floor. I don't even know. Such a mix of styles. I can't picture him in the ring.
I don't think it'd be that good. I don't think it'd be a good watch. I personally.
True.
For people I just still call ourselves casuals. Like, you want to see drama like that, you're not going to get that in that fight. I don't think.
Maybe, but they're not defensive fighters. It's not like a Mayweather fight where he's just going to go in and nullify them. They both. Do you know what I mean? Fury's a sick counterpuncher and a technician, and Usyk's very much someone who moves his feet and fights on the front foot. So I think he'll still be quite explosive.
Yeah. But Fury gets rid of him, I think, once again. I think Fury, the power and the size of
I think you can see Fury knows how to use his size and box with it.
You can see him leaning on Wilder, just lean.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. You're trying to, because if you don't hold him up, you're going to go over, and you don't want to do that because that's going to hurt. So you've got to hold up this guy who weighs 3 stone, probably about 3 stone more than you. All fight. That's what killed him, and he knows all the tricks in the trade.
He didn't really have anything on the inside, did he?
And then Usyk's got that footwork and that torso movement, and he's technical in the clinch. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's someone who can cause problems for someone a big man who wants to lean on him. So that'll be interesting, 100%.
Few points in it, I think.
It's going to be mad. The thing is, the boxing gods never work in our favour.
No.
Do they?
Yeah.
And you say that with every
Aaron fought most of the time, to be fair.
I ain't putting my name to that. I ain't putting my name to that.
Alright, can I have
a bitter old man, isn't he?
For fucking Usyk's outfit, bruv? Listen, as soon as I see you just like Sub-Zero. He was like Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat. He had the white thing. And he had some mad spaceman helmet, and it was lit up. I put money on him as soon as I saw that.
He's cool as fucking Usyk. He's nuts. He's cool as fucking.
Have you seen his videos? He's a drippy guy. I see him head to toe, in some head to toe bright blue LV outfit. I think some Eastern Europeans, you don't expect it from them. You think they're all gonna
be like Longstones.
Yeah, literally though. Do you know what I'm saying? But some of his videos of him dancing and skipping and stuff like that, he's a character, man. I like him.
Nice geezer, isn't he?
Yeah, proper. And even afterwards, it was his anniversary, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, he said that was his anniversary of his marriage. The fight that night was his anniversary, and after the fight, all he was talking about was his kids and his wife, and it's like, he's a sick guy, man.
Cool
I rate him a lot.
Yeah. Right, boys, that's the heavyweight scene wrapped up in about 35 minutes, as much as really we can talk about before we end up just chatting bollocks all night. Just finally, Sunday. I can't stop thinking about Sunday.
Cup final, innit?
Cup final day, yeah.
It's a world
title fight.
Yeah. It's our big night, man. It's going to be, we've got at least 90 minutes for you lot out there, and it's going to be it's going to be an exciting night for us.
We've been training hard.
As much as we do, anyway.
Got a special surprise as well, which we've just done in the studio.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's a few surprises.
Yeah, a couple of surprises. I don't even know.
But yeah, massive night, and hopefully there's a few people from the last IFL interview who got into your music, and maybe even if it's just one or two that might be at Brixton, because like I said to you, the response after the last one shocked me. So I thought, I'll speak to you boys, love you boys, whatever. But I thought, because you ain't boxers, promoters or managers, you're going to get loads of shit.
Yeah.
And it went down better than probably anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there was a couple of people talking about it, so maybe there'll be a couple
I'm in the
of IFL
comments.
fans
When's this going out?
tomorrow. So
Yeah,
Wednesday.
so drop comments. Hit us up in the comments if you found us in the last interview and you're rolling
Or if you're
Brixton.
coming. Ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm always in the IFL comments. You probably see the Manor in there.
In fact, mug us off a bit though, because I wanted to see a little bit about it. It's quite funny.
I don't need that.
You don't need
we
that?
a big show. I don't want no one.
No, I need it email.
No one.
Someone tell me I look nice. I had my bar
Just mug me off then.
Mug off Dan.
Shout out Glam Boxing Welling. Edith from my new barnet.
Oh yeah, you got new extras, didn't you?
You had to get rid of that phone one after the Euro.
No, don't. Man. Come back to Gaza.
Well, look, boys, pleasure as always. You know how much I love you. Can't wait. And yeah,
Thanks
lads.
for coming down, mate.
Sweet.